Hello and welcome to VL F1 Season 5. I am your host, Joyce. I am joined this evening by Fraden. Say hello.
Hello, guys. Yeah, good to be back, Joycey. It was good watching you and other Dan. People in the audience can argue about which Dan they prefer, but it's all Dan all weekend, apparently, over here.
It seems so. So, I am going to jump right into the actual game if it's loads off the black screen. We'll see. There we are. So, I absolutely thought we'd have like 2 or 3 more minutes, but we've gone straight into it. We are in Austria again, but the Styrian Grand Prix, so it's pretty much the same circuit. I say pretty much it is the same circuit as last week, but we saw basically a clown fiesta of crashes and people dying. However, it's called Styrian because we can't have the same name. Karen, thoughts?
Yeah, it makes sense if you want to identify them differently, but a lot of people will then hear Syria instead of Styria and start thinking about the Middle Eastern country. So, yeah, we are still in the lush green forest region of Spielberg in Austria. So, same track. Hopefully, the race will be remembered more for the right reasons this time, because as we saw from you and Dan's cast last week, your perspective was a bit interrupted by all sorts of bugs from Codemasters and their beautiful influence on the track.
Indeed, we did. To answer the chat question, will Merck be deploying the TARDIS strap? It remains to be seen. I can't see why they wouldn't be. It worked so well for them last week. Blaze home record getting a podium. Oh my god, I've just noticed that his teammate Rock is not here.
Yeah, maybe Brandon can time warp back to maybe season 3 or 4 when I was on the team, and maybe that'll help him get points. But you know what? You can't have them all. Let's see if he can do the best himself. And yeah, Rock apparently is stuck in traffic today, which is frustrating for a couple of reasons. One for Rock, because he wants to race. Two, for the German police force, the Polizei, because they'll be arresting him for speeding. Three, because Somther, who is in Williams, could have seen this as an opportunity to jump into the senior Mercedes seat. But because Rock is roster locked in that senior seat, Somther can't take it, so he's been kept in the junior seat. So a lot of awkwardness with Rock's absence at Mercedes. Let's hope they can answer well on track.
Yeah, and also the other notable missing driver is the other Aston seat, so Callie or Dan could not make it. They tried late substituting Tezian, but I'm guessing that's not gone through.
Yeah, that was the rumour I'd heard, but I can't see him in qualifying. We'll wait to see if we can get him in as a late race entry, but for now we've got 18 drivers. So one Mercedes missing, one Aston Martin missing. It's very difficult to tell apart drivers in Season 5 because there's so many blue teams. Alpine, Mercedes, Williams. You've got one other team in there. What's the one with Shadow Hopper, and that's Alpine.
Sorry, guys.
There's lots of blue.
Need to show my screen to Pradhan. Yeah, sorry, I was looking. So, Chamber Nerd was in the gravel a second ago. I don't know if he was just crawling along to get out of the way, or if he'd spun off or whatever. But there was a lot of yellow flag. Had a quick look, he's in the gravel. So, Somther getting the timeout first, 104.1. So, as you saw last week, the times were... you're looking at like a 101 if you're really pushing it, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, let's have a look. I'm actually pulling up the stat sheet, the crib sheet from last week, and it was awkward because Q3, the final qualifying session, was in intermediate tyre wet weather, so it wasn't a true display of slicks. The fastest times in Q2 on softs were about 104. The fastest time in Q1 was Travis's 103.5.
Okay,
so that's the sort of benchmark we're looking for here.
Yeah, Khan with the 103.7, which is, it's pretty good if you're saying 103.5.
Yeah, that would have got a good P4 in Q1 last week. Calms time.
So now we have got a little bit of downtime as drivers are coming around. Brandon with a 104.3. I will point out that I've got an awful cold I'm just getting over. So literally, since last week, where my throat was starting to die a little bit, all week I've suffered from it. I'm only just starting to get to the back end where I start to be able to breathe a bit. So if I sound a bit nasally, I really do apologise.
And it'll be the thing where you're casting, where just as you're starting to recover, you'll end up having an awkwardly dry throat for the rest of the week anyway. So
yeah, I've got plenty of fluids.
Can we get an F in chat?
Plenty of fluids, so we'll see.
So yeah, let's take a look at a bit of power ranking, sort of tier lists, because we'll get used to it as we see the first few races of Season 5. I know I will, because I wasn't here last week in Austrian Grand Prix.
Wire with a 103.6. Sorry to cut you up there, Carry on.
Oh yeah, cheers, Joycey. So I'm expecting to see the names near the top of the scoreboard like we did in Season 4. Your Calms, your Flyers, both Red Bull drivers, Travis and Charmander. Sonny won his first race end of last week after a few bits of bookiness, but also a lot of good pace. So those names are coming up towards the top. I also like looking at ones to watch, like Maka and Crispy. By the way, nice plug while I'm talking about it.
Hey, my boy.
Yeah, if you're in the VL Discord, by chatting in the Formula One channels and by participating in real life Formula One race chats and being in the lobbies for driving, you can get F1 coins. And if you go into the Bot Commands channel, you can buy packs of cards that Joycey has made for seasons 3, 4, and 5, and before for championships in VLF1. So you might be able to pick up the ones to watch cards. Are they still available now, Joycey?
They are. They're expiring this evening, so whenever Glenn decides to take them out tonight, that's when they expire.
Nice. So yeah, this is your last chance to get the one to watch cards. I think we've got Gaben and Crispy, the BBU drivers. I want to see Maka as well, and finally Law, who's returning after a while. They're your ones to watch drivers, so augment your card collection now. I want to see how they perform, and they are ones to watch in that we don't really know how they will stack up. This will be a good indicator, because it's not really race strategy yet. It's just get your soft tyres on. Don't worry about tyre wear. Just get your fastest time in the 18 minutes available.
Yeah, so I've just been focusing a little bit on Gaben. So we've finally seen the debut of Slot Gaben, someone that's highly rated, looking to be exciting. His first stint around on the qualifying was not red flagged. What's the word I'm looking for?
Invalidated?
Invalidated. Thank you very much. He's invalidated, so he's in the pits, presumably getting some different tyres on or redoing strategies, changing how his car is feeling or whatever else he can do in there. Come back out. But he is definitely one that I think can light it up today.
Speaking of, and Carlos suffers from the Brandon curse. It happened in practice earlier. He's got disqualified with a 104.1 previously on the board. That's going to drop into the very bottom. His time is going to be invalidated, and his car is going to move to the side of the racing line, out of the way of some of the other drivers. That is agonizing because you can block the pit lane unintentionally from just a simple spin on turn 1. And Carlos is, if it's anything like Brandon, he's going to be slamming his fists into his desk.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. So not only, I mean, in previous seasons, if you got this kind of thing happen in Q1, you'd turn the game off, you'd leave the call, you'd go and relax, do something, use your time wisely. Now, he's got to sit there, wait for Q1, wait for Q2, wait for Q3, and then he's going to race. So he's got all that time for that to play in his mind.
Yeah, he's got to keep his mental in order. He can't sleep on it. He can't wait till the next morning. He's just got to have at best a 30-minute break. He might choose to just walk away from the game. He might choose to go harass Impress for a bit. I know I would. Yeah, he's got to have his house in order. In the lobby, by the way, so for those who are unfamiliar with how our qualifying works in F1 and VLF1, it's a 3-stage qualifying. So this is Q1. We'll then have Q2 and Q3. In this first stage of qualifying, also known as Q1, we have 18 minutes. And from a possible maximum of 20 drivers, the best 15 times go through to Q2. So at the moment, Carlos has given a giant lifeline to everyone because he's one of the drivers that will be eliminated at the end of the session. 2 more will join him, the slowest 2, P16 and P17 on the timing board, in 9.5 minutes, will not be progressing any further.
So, TLDR, don't be in those last 2 slots in Q1.
Flyer coming in, he's got 103.6, that's the time he posted earlier. I believe that was Sunny just displacing Calm. It looks really close between positions 2 and 3 there. Crispy also a really fast time because he was fast in practice. It's great to see him reflecting that in the qualifying session as well. Charmander, he's done all right. He's about midfield. He knows he can be better than that. Shadow, Travis, Gaben, yet to put a time on the board. Whopper is now on his outlap at the moment, so I'm going to keep my camera on him, see how he performs.
Yeah, I'll also go on Shadow. I was going to watch Calm, but let's go Shadow. So getting around that bend, getting as much acceleration as he can into the start of the hot lap.
Yeah, that's a really tough corner to... he's fallen prey. It's commentator's curse. It's a tough corner to stay valid on because you have to keep speed maintained through the apex of that corner. Most drivers will do it in 4th gear, but it's so easy to invalidate on the exit there, on the Armco on the exit. So Shadow is going to have this lap invalidated. Will Calm be able to do the same? No, he's got through that. So he's got fastest sector 1. He's coming up to turn 3, a really tight hairpin. Traction on the exit of that corner is really hard. Most drivers do it in 2nd or 3rd gear. Once you've got that initial bit of traction, you're good to go. You're good to accelerate. This next corner is a really nice smooth curve. Normally taken in 2nd or 3rd. Calm switching up to 4th early to get that extra traction from the higher gear. And coming towards the end of Sector 2, he's got to keep the car stable and just run it around the best possible racing line around these next 2 corners. He's maintained his purple sectors, runs past Shadow Hopper. Nice gentlemanly move there. Now, this is the last 2 corners coming up. It's a short track, Austria. He has to position his car, just pinwheel it around those few corners. Has he invalidated? He's kept it valid, but he can go so much faster through there. He didn't go quite enough to the inside. It's still fast enough for P1 by some distance. 103.2.
Right, Shadow back on a hot lap. Camera onto Shadow. Oh, he's having to dodge and then he invalidates again. Who was that? Was that Calm?
It was Calm. He just finished his fastest lap, got into P1, and then nosed up this turn 1. So great for both to survive. I don't know how much Calm has distracted Shadow with that, though.
Yeah, he seems to be really struggling with turn 1 to Shadow, which doesn't bode well for the start of the race, you know.
Yeah, that's going to be really congested if last week's Austrian Grand Prix is anything to go by. There's a lot of potential for collision in turn 1 and also in the hairpin in turn 3. Brandon coming towards the end of his lap at the moment. He was about on pace with his previous lap at the end of Sector 2. Has he gained any time? He has. He's gained a 10th, moves him into P9 ahead of Hodgson and Charmander Nerd, which is no mean feat.
Yeah, not too bad. So, Trav now on his outlap, yet to set a time. He's coming round in towards Sector 3. Cameras on board. Hopefully, Trav can post a time.
Yeah, definitely want to watch. Travis is our champion in Season 2. He pushed Calm all the way in Season 3. And he's just been a really strong, consistent driver. I think he's actually the 2nd most points scoring in VLF1 history. Nice, reliable driver. Decked out with the wheel. Everything's just set up for a commentator's curse, if I'm honest. There's a Haas struggling at the end of turn 1. That's Calm. He's had a few spins. Trav's going to have to negotiate a few leaving the pits now. Let's see if he does it.
Yeah, Trav well underway into Q1. Overtaking those drivers. Round the hairpin at turn 3. Looks to have handled it well. I believe he's got a purple sector 1. It does seem that way. He's looking fast. What do you reckon he's currently looking at? 103.5? 103.6?
I normally look at the split timings, but without that, I think he got messed up by having to move past Gaben and one of the Aston Martins. I don't think he's that fast at the moment. 102.4, I'd say.
He said he was a purple sector 1, and I was got a purple sector 2 as well.
In which case, I stand corrected. He looks very fast from that.
So we'll
He's
see.
pinwheeled very well.
Corner. Last corner's good. 103.5. I called
very
it.
Close.
Very
yeah,
fast.
3 thousandths ahead of Flyer as well. Flyer himself is coming up to the end of Sector 3. That Haas engine really revving. He's looking slower. He didn't get an ideal second last corner. And a bit of spin, bit of slip and slide on that final corner. How's he going to do? It's a 104.9, 1.3 seconds down. That's not the Flyer skills, but he's using this for practice. He's 7 laps deep.
Okay, on to Gaben. He's come through Sector 1. He's not got a purple, so we don't really have an indicator. So this is the man that a lot of people, including me, are excited to see today. Can he be the one that breaks into that top spot as a newcomer? Or is he just going to be slightly off the pace that some of these drivers can set?
And yeah, the newcomer thing is spot on because he wasn't here last week, couldn't make it due to personal commitments. So this is his first showing in Season 5 in VL, coming off the back of 4 consecutive BBU championships. So a lot of hype, a lot of one-to-watchmanship surrounding him.
Is he going to be held up here? Nah, it seems like he should be okay. What's the time looking like? It's looking like a 104. 104 almost flat for Gaben into 7th.
Fantastic.
Not too bad.
I'm going to move straight to Shadow Hopper, who's in P17. He's in a dangerous position right now. The times are looking very close, by the way, Joycey. So with 2 spots at the bottom going down, P16 and P17, along with Carlos, it's not like there's an obvious few drivers who are really slower than everyone else. Shadow hasn't set a time, but he's shown he can be competitive last week and also in practice. So he just needs to get one good lap on the board, and then he can absolutely shake up these standings.
This is looking fast, Cradden.
He's kept it alive in Sector 3 as well, and moves up to P6. I'm surprised there. I thought he invalidated on that final corner, but his position shows me wrong, and that moves Maka down with Miffy into the danger position.
For Miffy, then, coming into Sector 3. Yeah, talking about that final corner, there's a lot of give. So we noticed this last week. You can really go wide on it, and it does not punish you. So here we come. He's looking not too quick at this point, but he jumps up into 8th, putting Law and Maka into those drop zones. Chamanerd, Hodgson, Blaze Homewrecker, all at danger too.
Yeah,
one thing I will...
Sorry, go on, Tracy.
I was going to say, one thing I will point out about how close the times are. Last week, Q1 was 1 second between first to last.
Wow.
So, really competitive grid.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats now. The slowest time in Q1 last week was Pyro's 104.6. Everyone's faster than that time now by a good 1.5 tenths. So there's a nice field of improvement. Calm's time is 3 tenths faster than Travis's was last week. So everyone's really getting their iron on this track. Maka now on his outlap. 1 minute 52 to go. You'd like to think he has 2 shots at this, but will that be enough?
But he needs to improve. He needs to find 3 tenths, really. I mean, ideally he finds 5 tenths, but 3 tenths to try and get out of this drop zone.
It begs the question of who's safe, and I think that could be even more tantalizing as we go into Q2. Monty has gone. I think that's a pit retirement, so Heart Attack's away for now.
So yeah, Monty confident with a 103.9, thinking that these drivers won't break into the 103s.
Yeah, one thing I like to do for the end of a session is look at the fastest lap, add 20 to 25 seconds. That's the last time you can come out the pits. So anyone leaving the pits now, such as I think Aston Martin might be doing it, is going to be doing it way too late.
Yeah, so Miffy, Gabe and Glenn, Copy, all staying in that pit. So Monty is safe. Can these drivers pull anything out the bag? Mack looks like he's a little bit impeded here with his Red Bull. Chaman and Nerd trying to maybe put him off, make sure he stays in that drop zone. Because Maka's time is not competitive. Chaman and Nerd jumps into 8th. He's going to be safe.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. Maka was 2.4 seconds down. You said he didn't improve. That's quite some distance. And yeah, he's going to have to do it on this lap or the next one. There's 20 seconds till the end of the timing line. But it's not just a case of saying you have 2 laps left. There are other factors, such as tyre wear, such as ERS, such as mental strength that you have to consider. He's got to put it all on the line, or he'll be starting from very far back on the grid. I'm going to stay with Maka on this one and see if there's any way he can obviously improve. Nice smooth curve around Sector 2. I
will point out that Law is invalidated, so he's certain to be in that drop zone. There is 1 space remaining between Hodge, Maka, Blaze Homewrecker. And also probably, I mean, Copy as well, given that he's now finished.
And yeah, this will be Maka's final lap as well. He's coming around the final 2 turns. Needs to keep it straight, needs to keep it valid, and importantly, needs to improve enough. 1.5 tenths required. It's looking good. He jumps up to P15, moving Hodge into the drop zone. Hodge is now on the lap of his life in P16. He needs to improve by 300, so he will be eliminated.
Jumps up to 8th. He's safe. It is a shootout between Hodgson and Maka, depending on Hodgson's performance right here.
It's into Project Senior Ferrari versus Junior Alfa Romeo. Can Hodge deliver when the pressure is highest and when it matters the most? He's looking really slow and he's spun it on the final corner. Hodge is going to be out in Q1. That's a desk slammer if you ever saw one. Maka is going to be going to Q2 at his Project teammates' expense.
Absolutely. Great drama at the end of Q1 there. So as you pointed out, the senior driver being outperformed by the junior counterpart. Maka with a clutch time to get himself into P15. And, I mean, Hodgson crumbled under pressure.
Yeah, it's so easy to spin on that last corner anyway. Trav was in a 50% and did it on the last corner in a recent race. But to do it when the pressure matters most, you've got to argue that with Hodge having a few tenths in the bank as well, he could have taken it a bit slower. And that's what he'll be saying to himself at the moment. I could have taken it a bit slower and I'd be in Q2 right now. Instead, he has to refocus his energies on giving Maka the best advice that he can. So they go into Q2 and a different mental battle, a strategic battle, because the tyre wear now matters.
Absolutely. Credden, I've got a phone call that I'm going to have to take, so you're going to have to go solo for a second.
That's what I'm here for, Joycey. So, yeah, unlucky for Hodgson. Of course, Law also joining Hodge and Carlos also joining Hodge in the drop zone there. They won't be participating further. So to do a quick explanation of Q2, before we do, let's see if there's any comments in chat. We've got no Hodge from Crispy. That's a good F to pay respects, even across projects. It's a feels bad man moment, whatever you say. Yeah, Ted Imp in chat just commented about 2 minutes ago. How do I join and will it work on Xbox? At the moment, we're playing on PC version in F1 2021 for this season of 22 weeks. Yeah, unlucky if you only have the Xbox version available at the moment. But yeah, if you want to talk to any of the admins or racing director Blaze Homewrecker, or me or Joycey after the race, we can tell you more about the league, or if you're interested, how to get involved. For now, I'm going to focus on the 15 remaining drivers. So we're going into Q2. At the end of Q2, the top 10 times qualify into Q3. But it's a bit more convoluted than that. The tyre wear and the tyre compound that the top 10 drivers qualify on in Q2 will be the ones used at the start of the race. And the race is after qualifying today, rather than in Season 4 on the following day, on the Sunday. So it's a nice little tactical battle. Do you go on the fastest, softest compound in order to give yourself the best chance of qualifying into Q3 with the fastest time? Or do you go on the slowest, hardest compound and gamble on getting into the top 10, but then giving yourself an advantage in the race of starting on the harder tyre, which is normally seen as a better strategy to go? It's one thing that me and Joycey will talk a bit more about as we get towards the end. 15 minutes separates these 15 drivers from Q3. Everyone on either an outlap or still in the pits at the moment. We saw in Q1 drivers like Trav, like Gaben, giving it a good 5 minutes before leaving the pits for the first time. And that's normally a good move just to avoid congestion and reduce the risk of a stupid collision taking you out of the session. I'm sure Carlos is looking at that and wishing he'd gone out a few minutes later. We've got a nice little crash on turn 1. Is Pyro going to suffer the same fate? Let's hope not. There's no one coming out of the pit lane. And Pyro's now on track. Good news for the boy in McLaren. Okay, so first bit of tyre news. 12 of our 15 drivers have gone out on the medium tyres. Normally you have the options of either the soft tyre and you have 3 sets, or the medium tyre and you only have the 1 set. So what most people will do, especially on tracks like Austria, short tracks, is they'll go out on the medium tyres, the slower, harder compound, try and set as good a time as they can. If they're happy and they think it's worth top 10, they'll stop and they won't take no further part in the session. If they need that extra bit of speed or those extra few tenths, they'll switch to softs and potentially sacrifice a bit of race strategy to ensure that they get into the shootout of Q3. Time starting to come onto the board. Charmander left it late in Q1 to get a really good time in. He's taken an opposing strategy and just gone straight for P1. 104 dead on the mediums. If I take a quick look at Q2 last time, the fastest time on mediums was set by Travis, number 57 in the Red Bull in Q2. That was on mediums, that was a 103.6. So Charmander knows that he has an extra few tenths available if he looks at the drivers around them. Charmander himself got a 104.1 on the mediums last week, so he's already setting his personal best. It's a good sign for our boy. 2 of our drivers who had set soft tyres have switched back to mediums. We see Blaze off track for a second. He's going to get back on. Mediums do have the advantage of lasting for an extra few laps than softs. So for hot laps, you still get a bit of an advantage if you do multiple hot laps in a row. However, because if you're in the top 10, you'll be carrying through the tyre wear, you really don't want to do as many laps as you can. You want to only do that one hot lap, ideally, and just send those tyres back into the pits. Doing multiple laps is the refuge of the person without a plan or who has to adapt. Gaben coming up into P2, but Charmander has improved again with a 103.9 to retain his grasp on P1. Great play by Charmander there. Okay, so this is probably where I spice it up with predictions. Based on what I've seen, I think the harsh drivers, Sunny, Charmander, Travis, and I'm going to say Crispy as well, should get through. I'm a bit more apprehensive of Pyro, Miffy, maybe Shadow Hopper. I have him as a better driver in my head, but he seemed a bit inconsistent today. Maka can have high peaks, but he DQ'd in practice. I don't know if he got enough laps in. And of course, he was stuck to the end in Q1. So I think I'm going to say Pyro, Maka, Miffy, and who else did I have? Whopper. Pyro, Maka, Miffy, Whopper going down. I've still got the jury out on the 5th driver to join them. If I had to say, I would probably go for Somther in the Williams, because on the basis of last season, he was a really good driver. I haven't seen the same Somther level pace from him I have in previous seasons on today's performance. 104.1, however, is nothing to be sniffed at. It's a great time. It's the best time Charmander can manage last week. And if you're as good as Charmander, that's a great place to be. Yeah, Couchy, Joycey's just taking a personal call at the moment, so you've got me for Q2. It's actually Carlos calling Joycey, just seeing if he can get reinstated into Q2 after Cody's DQ'd him in Q1. Okay, Blaze just having a little bit of a spinola, but he's going to get back on track. Doesn't look like too much damage. He's still got both end plates on the front wing. He's gone pretty slowly, though, so it's either tyre temperature, winding himself up for a lap, or brain AFK. We'll see. He is still on the outlap, so I don't think he wants to go in. I suspect he's waiting for the tyres to cool down. There he is. There's the Mercedes powerhouse. Has he got the tyres in order? Yes, he has. No extra skid on the final turn. So he's going to start a hot lap directly now. Pyro, meanwhile, is on a hot lap. He's got 104.2 on the board on the mediums. He's 5 thousandths faster at the moment. He wants to improve on that one. He's got either an Alpine or a Williams ahead of him. Those colours are really difficult to tell apart. It is Bopper in the Alpine. Sunny setting a 103.5. Fantastic time from that guy. Yeah, to reiterate, the fastest time in Q2 last week was Travis's 103.6, so we're seeing records falling. Sunny, of course, didn't make it to Q2 last week. So he's put a nice impression down on the field. A bit of a yellow flag in the hairpin. I think that's between Calm and one of the Aston Martins, maybe? Yeah, it is. Sunny. In fact, the only Aston Martin on the track. In case you can't get confused enough with blue liveries, you've also got Aston Martin and AlphaTauri in sort of a dark green. Miffy going into P10, of course only 10 times on the board with a 105 dead. Based on last week, the 10th best time, so the benchmark to get into Q3, was a 104.1 from Calm. So we'll be seeing a lot more of the strategic gamble from the drivers as we get towards this all-important second half of Q2. Okay, a lot of drivers in the pits as they want to prepare for a final stint. Everyone's best lap is on mediums at the moment, but we are seeing a few drivers, namely Salty Gaben in the Alfa Romeo and Somther in the Williams switching to the soft tyres. Blaze really having a tough time with that corner, but I have faith he can get back. He's got a bit of empty track now to recover his car. With him being on mediums, I think now is probably about the right time to switch to softs anyway, so no massive harm to that guy. Monty, Crispy, and Whopper yet to set times. Crispy, in fact, is in the pits at the moment. I think he's just going to come out on softs later. I have faith that he could maybe challenge for the top 10 on mediums because he's got such good pace. With him not having set a time yet, I suspect he'll go for the softs battle and not leave anything to chance. As you've seen, even drivers as good as Hodgson can be caught out. The field in VLF1 Season 5, I said it in previous seasons where things were more stacked. We haven't had a more competitive field than the field we have right now. There's a lot of really good drivers. At the moment, Pyro, I'm not picking on him, but he was the slowest driver in Q1 last week. Pyro is a really good driver. He's got so many top 10 finishes. For him to be considered bottom of the pack in a timing session shows just how strong the league is. I think he might have even got a P3 or P4 last season. That's how good the guy is as well. Then we've sort of had a nice exchange agreement with BBU where we've got a few solid drivers off of there, and we've got a few drivers. In fact, the top end of VL, Trav, Com, Flyer, a couple of the Ferrari boys, they've gone into BBU as well. So nice little exchange program, gives drivers who want to race on Sundays and Tuesdays something to do. Okay, so many drivers in the pits right now. We're going to be getting close to the final tactical battle where people come out on softs. Sunny is on mediums, and he's got a really good time, 103.5. If you were Sunny, you'd be feeling pretty confident that you could get through on the mediums. However, anyone below him, there's an element of chance that people could just beat you by going on the softs. It's part of what makes Q2 so fun. You have to be ready to make that final tactical switch until the last moment, unless you're like Sunny and have such an astronomically good time compared to the rest of the field. Right, I'm going to follow Crispy a bit with my camera now. He's yet to set a timed lap. He's on the mediums as well, and he's just invalidated, which is actually really bad for him. He either needs to keep going on the mediums, or with 4 minutes left, he needs to come in and go for softs. Cutting to Calm, who is the two-time Drivers' Champion. He's on the mediums, he's feeling confident, he's backing himself to get a fast time on the slower tyre compound. He's got the fastest Sector 2 of the field, it's just lit up purple. He needs to get these last two corners well. He's got a clear track ahead of him despite the yellow flag warning. Pinwheeling it around. It's really smooth on that second last corner. He's avoided invalidation. It looks pretty quick from the guy. And he's going to cross in 103.9. So not world-beating like Sunny, but it's a really good time and one that you can be fairly confident of. It's a good 3-4 tenths above what I would expect to be the drop zone. At this point, all the best times are on mediums. We're starting to see drivers on soft tyres do outlaps. In fact, it's going to be Maka and the Alfa Romeo do the first timed lap on a soft tyre. The soft tyres, I think, are about 1 to 1.5 seconds quicker than the mediums, so they can overcome the deltas that we're seeing on the timing board right now. Logically, you can go from P11, P12, from the bottom of the timing stack all the way to the top just by making that switch. We're going to see so many changes in the last few minutes of Q2. Okay, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. This is crunch time, with the best laps being about 1 minute and 5 seconds. The next 30 seconds is critical for when you want to come out and what tyres you'll be coming out on. I want to see a real swathe of drivers leaving the pits, going out on the soft tyres, and just trying to shake up the scoreboard at the last moment. So the Red Bulls aren't doing that. They're safe in P2 and P3 at the moment. We've got Sunny safe in the pits as well. Calm is in the pits. Flyer is in the pits. However, we've got a few time laps going on. Maka is 1/10 up. He really needs to get more time out of his soft tyres, but he's going to have at least one more opportunity to do so. Crispy with a 103.7. Great time for him, and it looks like the strategic gamble has paid off for him. He's done it on the mediums. Unlikely for that time to be under threat from the soft tyres. Maka has improved, but it's not significant. 104.3, he's going to need to do more. Glenn is on the mediums. He's 2/10 up. At this point, he's going to be battling with Brandon for P12, but that's not enough for Q3, and he's invalidated. I think he's made that call a bit too late. Same with Miffy, who's a 10th faster, but it doesn't look like that time's going to be enough to get him through to Q3. Not looking great for Ferrari right now, with Maka and Glenn both in the drop zone. Gaben really holding up that team right now. Okay, so who's on soft? Gaben in the pits, Flyer in the pits. These drivers won't be able to race now with 1 minute left in the session. Shadow, Blaze, Pyro now on an outlap. He'll be able to have one shot at this when he crosses the timing line. Crispy appears to be safe. Travis, Charmander looking safe now. Gaben, Carmen, Flyer, they're sort of the upper end of the drop zone, but it's hard to see anyone challenging them. Maka is 3/10 up. It looks like he'll go into about P8 at the moment. He needs to keep this valid around the final corner. Oh no, he's invalidated. It's gone red. That would have been competitive. He's got one more shot at this. He needs to make this happen now. Blaze is on his outlap. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to have enough time here. Same goes for Calm, who only has 14 seconds to cross the timing line. Blaze is not safe here. I think he's going to go out at Q2. Let's see what else is happening here. Monty is gone. He's retired in the pits. Glenn and Miffy not really able to improve at the moment. Glenn is on his final lap. He's going really slowly at the moment. He might have a puncture. He might have a fuel issue. Either way, this is not world-beating time. Glenn is gone. Blaze Homewrecker is gone. Miffy is 3/10 up, but that will just leave him in P13-14. He is gone. How is Maka doing? He's valid, and he's 3.5 seconds up. He's gone. Can Pyro do anything to recover? He's 3/10 up, 104.2. I lied about Miffy, by the way. He just smashed his time. I thought his track went red. Pyro coming around the last corner. It's looking good. He has a few tenths in the offing. Can he knock Shadowhopper and Somtha down? He can. Both Somtha and Shadowhopper getting knocked into the drop zone. Somtha on the Williams team, Shadowhopper on Alpine. Glenn, I guess that's a puncture? I don't see why he's so slow. Yeah, apologies, guys. I thought that Miffy was knocked out. He didn't look to have a really good time. But then he must have had a really slow Sector 3 previously, because he just went out and smashed his time, jumping up on mediums to 103.8, which is really something to look at. Okay, so that is going to be the end of Q2. Last two drivers going into the pits will confirm our standings. Somtha, Shadowhopper, Blaze, Homewrecker, Maka, and Glenn all dropping at this stage. So 2 from Project Merc, 2 from Project Ferrari, and 1 Alpine driver. Monty retired in the pits, and he only ended up surviving by 11 thousandths. So grande testiculos on that man. Let's take a quick breather as we see the scoreboard before we go into the showdown of Q3. Let's get a few screenshots of this. We want to see this later on. Get it into our score sheet. So yeah, Sonny putting down an absolute marker. That was Travis last week. Sonny usurping his position at the top. Let's grab a quick shot of the tyres used as well. You love to see it. So yeah, most drivers not making the tactical switch. I thought we'd have a bit more of an interesting battle when we got to that stage. As it turned out, we had most drivers just confident of their position. You love to see it. You love to see drivers backing themselves, thinking they'll get into the top 10. And it turns out most of them actually doing it. Unfortunate for our bottom 5. They will get to spectate like everyone else. Hopefully they're watching stream right now, looking for a couple of tips, seeing if they can either practice themselves or see where other drivers are getting those final few tenths. So a quick rundown to how this is going to work. So in terms of overall big picture, we'll have Q3 final qualifying. Then we'll have a quick break while the racing director Blaze sets up the lobby, applies any soup license grid penalties. I believe we've got none this week. Somtha and Blaze just indicating that before the start of qualifying. Then we'll get things set up with the formation lap, and then finally the 50% race. So I think it's 36 laps, 50% of the actual race length that the real drivers would go around here in the Styrian Grand Prix. So, smaller picture, what are we doing here? This is Q3, this is final qualifying. We don't have any strategic tyre battles. Tyre wear is not carried over from Q3 into the race. Simply put, the 10 drivers' final classification times will be ranked fastest to slowest at the end of these 12 minutes, and winner is pole position, second is P2 on the grid, third is P3, and so on down to P10. Of course, these 10 drivers will then carry over the tyre wear and the tyre compound that they used in Q2, which just preceded this one. So as a quick reminder, all 10 drivers will be starting the race on medium tyres, with the exception of Pyro, who had to use the soft tyres to get through Q2. I'm not too au fait with what the ideal tyre strategy is. Some people have been using a one-stop, either soft hard or medium hard. I think the recommended one on the game is medium soft soft or medium soft two-stop. But that's ideal conditions, and anyone watching the Austrian Grand Prix on VL Channel 2 last week knows that ideal conditions don't happen amongst the blitzkrieg of Cody's coding. Alright, so we've got the drivers out. Only Gaben is still on his outlap. What I think I'd like to see here is the drivers doing a 3-stint qualifying session. On the shorter tracks like Austria, you can do it. Calm getting the first time on the board, 103.5. Fairly quick time, all things considered. Would have got you really high placed in Q1. But with the track evolving between Q1 and Q3, the times will only get faster, the drivers will get their eye in more, and the drivers will use less and less fuel. So I'm hoping to see a marked increase. Trav already deposing Calm with a 103.4 on the board. So as I was saying, with 12 minutes available on the shorter tracks like Canada, like Austria, and unlike the longer tracks like Spa, you can do 3 hot stints, each of 1 hot lap, and just get back into the pits, or finish the final lap of Q3 with your final hot lap. That means that on each hot lap, you can have the minimum fuel load and the minimum tyre wear. It also requires you to have only used 1 soft tyre in Q1, which I think a lot of these drivers did because they were so fast. I know the Haas drivers, Flyer and Calm, previously Williams in Season 4, are really good at optimising that time space. Or space-time, depending on TARDIS strategies. Unfortunately, Calm isn't that good at turn 1. He's just spin-alled off and might hold up his teammate. Nah, Flyer's going to be okay. And in fact, Calm might have set himself up in a position for a tow if that strat's going to be used. Yeah, on some tracks in the calendar, we might be seeing more tow strategies used. Baku is the first one I think of with that massive long straight at the end. I don't see it being used as much here, maybe in the start of the lap. But with drivers not having used it in Q1 and Q2, I don't see it making an appearance in Q3 with it being untested.
The chosen one has returned.
He was always here, my friend. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I was trying to swap to drivers. I'm on the phone. Sorry it took so long. The guy on the phone.
No worries. Always good. I saw the camera switching and didn't know if it was like magic or something.
But no, I am back. I should be back permanently now. What a shock, eh? The people going out in Q2. Did not see those going out.
Yeah, I'm just opening the screen. I knew Brandon was. Glenn I didn't expect. I would have called Somfer and Shadow, and I would have tentatively called Maka. I would have maybe put Pyro and Miffy down. Miffy actually blew me away because I'd consigned him to getting eliminated after seeing sectors 1 and 2, but I think he must have had a really good sector 3 based on his delta.
On with Fly then. So, did you all go through the tyres? I didn't really manage to catch the tyres.
That's it, yeah. So not as much switching in Q2 as you might have expected. Of these 10 drivers in Q3, everyone except Pyro used mediums in Q2. Pyro used softs.
Fair play, fair play. Oh, God, I'm so warm now. I had to the fan off, doing the phone call. Oh, so hot.
Yeah,
right.
Boy.
Flyer coming round.
Correct. Oh, go on, Joycey. What's Flyer doing?
You're going round into the pits. Carry on.
Speedy Gonzalez. So yeah, Ice is asking in chat, Copy has to do a mega quali here for the softs to pay off. Yeah, I can see that. Just get his nose in front like Glenn. And then he says, any update on if Rock will be here in time for the race? I don't think he would. He was definitely included in the roster lock. I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from Blaze because he's been busy racing. It will be a last-minute appearance if he does decide to join. So, yeah, all I can say is stay tuned on that one, Ice.
I have just DM'd Brandon. I will let you know as and when.
Yeah, Brandon obviously has a lot of time to himself now, not being fast enough in Q2.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
no
so...
and no. So Rock is stuck on a closed road, and Tezzy had a work thing come up.
Oh,
So,
wait, they were going to substitute Tezzy for Rock, not the Aston Martin.
no, as in Tezzy, the sub, like he was going to sub earlier on.
Oh,
Got that
okay.
as well. They're both out. Rock will not make it in time.
Okay, I must have got completely the wrong end because I thought Tezzy was going to sub for Aston Martin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I was asking.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you with me?
I'm with you, yeah. So Tezzy was going to sub into Aston, Rock was going to sub into Merc. Neither can make it.
Exactly. So, now we've got a little bit of downtime. So we've got like 4.5 minutes before Q3 becomes interesting. I'm going to take this time, as Travis does a 1033, to plug my new YouTube channel. I'm going to say my new channel. It's actually my football team's new channel. So,
okay,
got myself a cheeky little sponsor, somebody from VL actually, which is an interesting one, who's also going to sponsor VL's prize money for the League of Legends side. And so he's sponsored my team, or my club, a camera. We've started videoing the games. I will shoot the link in a little bit, Couchy. And we're currently on, like, after 6 or 7 videos, about 1,000 views. So we're doing pretty well. Not True Haven, Impress No, is Wolveshire. I think it's Wolveshire. So I will... Brandon, if you could type in the chat, wolveshire.co.uk.
Spell that for me, please.
So Wolves... Like
Wolves, like Wolverhampton Wanderers, yeah.
That's the one, and then hire.
HIRE, yeah.
.co.uk.
Boom, get plugged.
There we go. So that's the company that is sponsoring. They're on the front of every video. But yeah, we're up to like 1,000 views or something after about 6-7 videos. So we're doing pretty well. I think people at VL may spread the word. You'll see me feature on the under 18s games as I'm their manager. But there you go.
Yeah, I was going to say no one's IDing you at that game. If you can pass for under 18.
I mean, I'm not playing. Come on. But yeah, just had a cheeky little plug, get a few more views. So my plan is to basically try and get as many views as I can, and then use that to my advantage. Go to Raid Shadow Legends, get a massive sponsor. Cha-ching, you know.
Yeah, we take those. That's your
Flyer
first
with
million.
1032. He's smashing that time into P1.
Yeah, really great times coming out.
Miffy's looking faster. Miffy jumps
He's
into
looking
P9.
faster.
Gaben's looking about the same, so unless he has a really good G3, P3, Sector 3, there we go, he's found it. Okay, he's saving 2 tenths now from Sector 2. Can he find the last 10th to jump into P7?
So a quick reminder, Com's fastest time in Q1 was 103.2. Flyer is equaling that now, so we're looking about the same rate. I think they've still got more to go with the final lap. I think Track Evolution can count here.
Gaben
Com can
not
totally get
improving.
more.
I mean, he does improve, but he doesn't move positions.
Oh, what's happening with Sonny? He's looking really slow.
I think he's just letting people through. That seems to be the case. He's on his outlap. Don't want to impede people. This Aston Martin car sounds horrific, by the way. There we go. Sounds a little bit better now.
I know, right? Yeah, with 2 minutes left on the clock, people are going to have to start looking at leaving the pits if they're in there. That's Flyer, Crispy, and Trav. Or if they're out on track, they've got maybe 1 or 2 hot laps left. So this is the crucible. This is where it all gets decided. This is where we see the grid order for the top 10. Everyone on softs. It's the showdown, as we keep calling Q3.
Copy slower than his previous time. Stays in P10. I think he may go back to back.
Oh, bit of a cluster as we leave the pits. Trav staying over on his side. And we've also got, I think that's Sonny coming around the first corner. Miffy leaving the pits as well. He's had to pull over onto the side. This is a Charlie Foxtrot of massive proportions. But we look towards Salty Gaben, who's coming towards the end of his lap. He's much slower. Who's that Haas behind him, though? It's Calm, and he's invalidated.
Monty is on a hot lap. He's still valid. He's just overtaking traffic. I think he got held up in traffic on corner 3, I want to say. So
Yeah,
we'll see how his time's looking.
A good 5-6 drivers held up at corner 1 and then again at corner 3 as a couple of drivers left the pits at that 2-minute mark. That's become tactical for drivers to get out of there for the final stint. Okay, so we're going to start seeing big trains of drivers try to post the fastest possible time to get their place as far forward on the grid as they can. Pyro coming across, he's 3/10 faster,
Monty
and he jumps
validates.
past Miffy into P9.
Yeah, so Pyro into P9. Monty invalidating on the final corner, unfortunately. I'm on with Gaben. He's looking faster. He's looking almost fast enough to jump into P6. This could be close.
Yeah, Sunny and Crispy both slower. They're going to cross the line. And we have what looks like Miffy. He's gone into the pits. That's the end of his Q3 and P10.
Oh, Gaben into the pits.
Same
as
with
well.
Gaben. P8. All right, here comes Calm. He's
Calm
on an
in the
invalidated lap.
gravel. That's looking like that's going to be his race over. Not race, qualifying over.
Yeah, that's the timing line, so no more new laps can be started. We're looking at everyone who's finishing a lap now. This will be their final time. Flyer coming round. He's already finished. He's already done his final lap. He can't improve. We've got a Red Bull coming into the pits. That was Charmander.
First. Travis will be the first one. It'll be Trav. I want to say...
Trav, focus
Monty.
on Trav for now. Monty's invalid at the moment.
Okay, so it'll be Trav, then we'll go to Sunny straight away after you cross the start-finish.
Let's do it. So Trav's crossed the line. He's 103.3. Sunny's coming through. Will he get faster? He's a 10th up. He's in P2.
On to Copy.
Yeah, Calm invalidated. So it looks like Pyro is the only driver yet to set time. He looks a lot slower. He's had a really slow lap.
Slower.
So that's going to be our final classifications. Joycey, take us through our top 10 for the grid.
Flyer in first, Sunny in P2, Crispy in P3, Trav P4, Calm 5, Charmander 6, Monty 7, Gaben 8, Pyro not paying off that gamble in P9, and Miffy P10. All the drivers, I believe, are on mediums. Copy, the only one in softs.
Yeah, boy. So using all the softs, using every bit of one lap pace they can get through, that's the point of Q3. And you love to see it. Like, our top 5 drivers were all within 2/10, and they all would have finished P1 in qualifying 1. They would have blitzed qualifying 1 last week. Obviously, we don't know about Q3 last week because of the intermediate tyre conditions. It's also great to see Flyer and Calm, both Haas drivers, Trav and Charmander, both Red Bull drivers, and most recent race winner Sunny, all in the top 6. So even though there's a lot of shake-ups, the drivers have, the cream of the crop has stayed up there. They've found a way to make it happen, and hopefully we'll have a race that's a lot cleaner than last race, as we've seen from this quali.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully no Codemasters funky stuff.
Yeah, cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross your nose if you're Glenn and watching, but everything else, just hope for a cleaner race. We'll just make sure that the results go into channel. JC, I'll use you as a notepad for this one.
That's fine, mate. I've seen you've been doing that earlier on, so that's fine. It's not a console league, Ted Imp. It is, in fact, a PC league. Sorry for the confusion with the Xbox controllers on the screen. I just like to use the controller to control this. So, a little bit of an interesting top 10. So, as you pointed out, a Haas Red Bull top 4. Well, Sunny was P2, wasn't he? So, Haas, Red Bull, and Sunny top 6. I'm trying to read it off that little screen. Oh, Crispy! Yeah. Crispy was P3, wasn't it?
So, Crispy all the way from the lowly junior project of Williams, beating Blaze, beating Rock, which wasn't hard because Rock's somewhere on an Autobahn, and beating Somther, his teammate, to jump up to rival the Haas and Red Bull teams, beating 3 of those 4 drivers. Sunny, most recent race winner, he's got the pace as well. It's great to see them all so close to each other as well. Like,
right.
This can be good.
Are you looking at my screen?
I am now, my friend.
Are you ready to actually do the track info that we've not actually done yet, and Brandon will kill me if I don't do it, so I made him... Oh, Travis made him send me. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay, so you've been watching it for a good 50 minutes anyway, if you've been watching the stream, but this is Spielberg, die große Preis von Österreich. Hope I've got that pronunciation correct. Rock will be able to check later when he gets into his house. It's a nice sunny day. Let's see if the weather holds up. It certainly did through qualifying. It's one of the shorter tracks on the calendar with only, I want to say, 8 or 9 turns. We'll have this confirmed by the graphic. Really fast corners as well, if you exclude turn 3, just after the DRS detection zone 2. DRS trains are really common on this track, so going all the way down the home straight, after turn 1 and then after turn 3, it's really easy for drivers to keep pace even though they are slower because of the DRS train advantage. So pit stops, undercuts, they're going to be pretty impactful here. If we see a safety car riddled race like last weekend, then we're going to see the invalidations and the grid penalty, the time penalties take a lot greater effect, as a late safety car means the field will be clustered together and only a few laps will allow them to spread out. So hopefully we see a nice open race with a lot of tactical battling. We might have to have all of the drivers keeping their heads about them and then switching their tyres based on whatever happens with weather and safety cars or potentially catastrophic wing damage.
Yep, absolutely. Sorry, trying to like juggle things again. So yeah, you got the track rundown. We are currently sat waiting for drivers to set up their setups. Sorry, set up the setups. Bad English, I guess.
Okay,
Choose
while
their
you do that,
setups.
I'm going to take my turn. I'll be back in about 30 seconds, hopefully for the
No
start of the
problem.
formation lap.
I mean, he's thinking positively there, because usually this takes a while. But yeah, so we're waiting for teams to choose their setup. They've obviously got the tyre selections for the top 10 set, but the rest of the league, or the rest of the grid, God, I'm all over the place today with this cold. Sorry, guys. Rest of the grid will get to have free tyre choice. Look at the weather, see what they need to do, what sort of strategies want to imply. So all at the moment sat waiting. Anybody in the chat got any questions? Hopefully not. Hopefully we're all good to go. Don't know how Crowder managed this for like 20 minutes, but he's obviously the OG. Here he is. I can hear him coming back now. But some interesting positions. Crispy in a podium start is a really, really interesting one. Who shocked you the most, Cradham?
As tag team said, whoop, there it is. Yeah, Crispy's a real shock. I was really shocked as well by Miffy's performance in Q2, just really jumping up from the brink of elimination to really challenging up top. Crispy's definitely one to watch. I keep using that phrase, get your cards, based on that last Q3 session. I know Charmander is faster. He's going to be looking at that 3/10 gap and just sort of bemoaning it, but with a few awkward Austria races in the calendar for Red Bull, just having that safety, just getting a bit of consistency in will be great for them. It's where we start seeing the battle for the difference between Mr. Saturday with great one-lap pace, but not consistency, and Mr. Sunday, who can pull everything out in a race. Yeah, I think Gaben will look at his time and wonder what could have been. And Miffy, I think, will be disappointed at not having those tenths. But everything else, it's not as much of a shock as what it could have been. It's not a massive flip side of the power rankings preseason, but there's a few ones to watch. So here's the formation lap.
Okay, so I'm just having a quick look at the tyres, Cradden. Mostly mediums. Hodgson and Law chose softs, and obviously Copy in the top 10 with the softs, qualifying in Q2 with those. Any shocks there, or is that to be expected?
I think it's to be expected, Joycey. So I tried guessing in Q2 as to what would happen for tyre strategies in the race. I think if you listen to Jeff, he'll tell you to do a two-stop with a mixture of medium and soft tyres. One possible strategy is to do mediums and hards, but it's very difficult to bank on using a hard tyre strategy in a race like this, especially one with history of being so booky. We're seeing the Jeff Bezos AWS confirm on stream. SMS or SMM is the ideal strategy for most of our drivers. And yet, setting hard tyres is really difficult because it assumes that you won't have a safety car level incident or wing damage for all of the length of that hard stint. So it's really hoping that there's not outside interference, and that's quite a long shot when it comes to VL. So shorter stints is a good sign. Getting the pit stops right, timing them well with undercut and overcut, and in the case of SMS or SMM, picking when to use your soft or medium stint is a nice tactical thing to do. The biggest tactical call for me, Joycey, is going to be to see how drivers respond to safety car calls.
Here's something interesting, Credham. We've seen Flyer, pardon the pun, fly around the track. He's going to be sat waiting a good 20 seconds on these tyres, losing all that heat he's just put in them. Is this something that you normally go for in P1, or is this a regular?
I wouldn't say so. So normally the formation lap is a good opportunity to heat up tyres. By spending that extra 20 seconds out in front, I think his tyres will have cooled down more, giving him the risk of low traction Colossus careering through the grid. He's retired from the session in the only the bookiest of fashions, and I don't know if he's caused wing damage. But let's ignore that for now, as the lights are about to start.
Oh no. Spooky game.
Couchy's comment reflects all of us right now, as yep, here come the lights. So whoever's
Oh
behind
no.
Carlos is going to be horrible. There's a dead car on the grid. Charmander has a drive-through penalty for a jump start. This is not what anyone wants to see. Everyone's going to have to negotiate around Carlos. There's a Ferrari. Glenn jumps through the entire left-hand side of the grid, and a virtual safety car starts the second race of the Season 5 of VLF1.
No.
Everyone's sticking to deltas, although at least it means we don't get as much congestion into turns 1 and 3. It's a bit like a rolling start. Couchy laughing it up, echoing presumably all of our viewers right now. I feel bad for Carlos anyway after that Q1, but
Brandon,
I also feel
what
bad
happened?
for Charmander. I have no idea, Joycey. He just, at the end of the formation lap, he just started running down the whole grid, like the ghosting of the end of the formation lap had been disabled, and he just started hitting cars left and right.
I mean,
we're going to see lots of boxes here, I think so. At least Charmander, who has to drive through.
I mean, are we just going to see a restart? Or are we just going to go with it?
Based on my experience, it's very hard for VLF1 to restart once everyone's in the lobby and going. Even when you exclude the fact that it's on league mode, which can't be restarted, especially with tire wear, everyone's in their own separate calls, everyone's thinking tactically. There's no independent race director call that can just say, that's a restart, we want to get things back underway for Carlos, which really sucks for Carlos, and especially drivers like Charmander, who've had to adapt. The race it looks like it's back underway, everyone's at full speed, Somther and Law colliding. Let's take a look at what's happening up front. It looks like Flyer and Sunny are heading the race, even though the timing stack doesn't reflect that at the moment. We've got Crispy, followed by Travis, Calm, Gaben, Glenn, who took a giant load of positions at the start, Monty coming up, Pyro on those soft tyres. We've got a bit of a closer battle as Shadow and Miffy are going close to each other as we enter turn 4. So we'll wait to see if the timing stack resolves itself. Most of the drivers at the front haven't been affected, but big F for Charmander. Always happens to him.
I mean,
oh, Sonny's gone! He's careered off the side after turn 6. He's going to have to wait for the entire grid to pass them by. He's not out of the race. He's going to be hoping for a safety car. But he was so fast in qualifying, and he's going to be so mad at himself right now. Another VSC.
Oh boy. More dumb fuckery. Cradden, quick question. Doesn't mean much to the viewers. Did we change the host today?
It's hard
As
to
we
say,
see Blaze home record DNFing, is he just quit out the game?
Oh, let's find out.
Can't see him on track anywhere.
He is, for me, at turn 1.
Yeah, I think he just quit. Maybe it's going to be a restart.
So we'll keep you updated when we get info, but honestly, that might be very delayed right now. Yeah, Ice is correct, and Couchy's saying it is a restart. I'll wait till I hear a shout from Blaze as to when we do it. What that means if it is a restart, looking more and more likely as people DNF, is we're going to be doing it in an unranked lobby. So people will have to use the same tyres that in the top 10 they qualified on in Q2, in P11 to 20, whatever tyres they've used now. That will give a nice bit of respite for Charmander and Carlos and anyone who was negatively affected.
and tune into that for the little wait we're going to have. Have both streams open. Could be a little bit of an idea. Back to the music.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets so lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence. In the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You're the night sky hiding behind dark gray clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see your blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing with my shadow all day. Watch the tide. I can't find the point where our two paths align. But you're the night sky. I'm trying to see your stars, but I've always feared the dark. Now I see violet. I can feel your silence. You always feel so far when your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it seems we're semi back. I'm going to turn my sounds on. Hopefully the music's now stopped. Cradden's also back. We're set up. I was also busy telling Glenn off for being a little troll in the Discord.
Understandable. Have a nice day. Yeah,
Also,
I only
I've got
got a
sounds
brief whiff
now.
of your racing general, but Glenn was proper railed.
Oh, I have definitely got sounds cool. Yeah. So for clarification as to, I mean, what we discussed as well, the reason why I think this week was different to last, for anyone that is now watching it back, is within a 1 lap/2 lap window, I think is very much acceptable after what's just occurred. However, last week, retrospectively doing it after the race had finished, or as we're 3/4 of the way through the race, I think it's a very, very silly call to make. As I stipulated in the ICOC, the ICOC kappa, I specified that the only people that would be happy with not restarting would be those that have done well, and the people that will argue against it are the ones that aren't happy. So hoping that makes a little bit of sense as to why last week we didn't take that decision and why this week we have. I have just seen people leaving the session, Braden.
Yeah, I'm
The
seeing that as
invitation.
well. I don't have any DMs suggesting that it's a booked lobby, but let's find out.
Maybe it's just a Hodge leave a Rooney.
Yeah, people are saying Couchy's saying Steam issues, and Couchy's really on hand with Ferrari Project, so he's in a call with them. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, if I can throw my weight in as well, because me and Joycey are both members of ICOC, which is just an independent oversight thing. I support the idea of restarting this one, especially at the moment, like in the heat of the moment, because I can't possibly say that what happened to Charmander and Carlos and maybe other people was fair. It's worth restarting if we can. When it came to last week, which I wasn't there for, looking retrospectively after the race, as Joycey just said, undoing a whole race worth of things and restarting is a different call to make. So, yeah, it's difficult, especially when the racing director who has to make an instant call is on one of the teams. So it's going to be an easy argument to sort of call team bias. It's one of the things that I think makes VL imperfect, apart from 900% of Codemasters issues, is having a race director that's neutral. But given that it's a free league, it's a volunteer league, Brandon already does so much for the league anyway. We're complaining over a very small thing that we can fix, when the big issue here is obviously Codemasters.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm currently typing in the committee chat just for his discussion points.
Yeah, boy. So, yeah, not the greatest advert, but we hopefully will get things up and running. Normally, this is the phase where drivers will pick their setups. They'll pick their starting tires, although they will have to pick the same ones that they were either locked into or chose to in the bottom half of the grid, and pick their fuel amounts. One quirk in Season 5, or rather the 2021 game, is that you can't use different fuel mixes during a race. So you used to be able to switch from standard mix, which was standard fuel consumption, down to lean mix, which is about 70%, or up to rich mix, which was about 130%, which meant that you could carefully influence the amount of fuel you had in your car compared to how much you needed to finish the race as a race proceeded. Now you've got a bit more of an interesting decision, because if you've underfueled your car, you can't really use a lean mix. You have to really sacrifice your lap times. The only way you can get back into the swing of things is by hoping for a safety car. So the Maverick stratagem is to underfuel your car and hope for a safety car, but risking that you won't be able to finish the race with any sort of good times otherwise. Yeah, more on that one later.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Cradden did say, we are just currently waiting for people to set up, get those loadouts ready. So as soon as we get towards the formation lap, we'll swap over. Sorry for the delay, guys. Obviously, not ideal. However, we wouldn't feel it's right that drivers would have to race under those conditions. So the restart, whilst taking time, is definitely for the benefit, I think.
Yeah, it's one thing I was going to point out is, do we have a result in the League of Legends Division 1 finals? I think that was on tonight.
We are into Game 5, so I've pointed that up. Yeah, Cooch, I'm also up very early.
It's like playing with Chinese under 18s next year. You just have to wait until 9 o'clock and then they have to go to bed.
True.
Topical.
Right, let's have a look at the captain's chat, see if people are ready.
My man has captain's chat. Well, he has every chat. That's more of a curse than a blessing, if I'm honest.
Hodge is currently restarting his game. Blaze is asking for any update. This will certainly go down well for Ferrari when we essentially make him, well, I guess, start the game. And then he joins in late, and then Glenn will have a fit. Because he's being punished after the restart, you know?
Yeah, boy.
Oh,
yeah, it is frustrating when, especially the problem is Cody's, but it's easy to misdirect. A bit of vitriol towards Shadow and Hodgson for not causing the delay, but being the driver that's holding up the rest of the team. So
Moo Faker saying this stuff is sick. Thank you very much. I don't know if you've been sarcastic, but I always take the compliment.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's talking about how good our random covering is for the fact that there's no race on at the moment. He might actually be talking about your profile picture on stream because you've got the really sleek shave, you've got a bit of the beard going, bit of that nice little U shape for the pointy chin, looking very distinguished. So. I'd find that sick.
That is also my picture in the VLF1 cards, Season 5 cards now out. So go and get them. Calm saying that Ferrari's ready. So God Calm can let us know about the Ferrari status.
I can see Calm saying that even if Ferrari isn't ready, though. That's the beauty of Calm.
So a little bit of a leak, but what he posted earlier on was Ferrari ready. I'll just do it for them now because you know they're going to take an age. I was going to say we've got a 2-minute countdown now before we will start, so Hodgson, get typing.
Yeah, we so from what we can see, we saw Hodgson disconnect. Looked like Steam issues, or at least that's from Couchy for his project's Jeff. Has he got back in, or is he still waiting to reconnect? There he is. It's answered
Hodgson
for me.
Has joined.
As if by magic. Yeah, so he's back in. He'll have to quickly see if he can reconnect to his car and then try and get something going with his setup. At this point, if he can't get back into his car, I think he won't be able to race, which is tragic, but it's the price would be just continuing to wait when we're already, I believe, 55 minutes past the start time.
I mean, questions will be raised as to why we didn't just go into a custom for the practice, but I'll leave that to the others to argue about.
Yeah, boy. The best part of being an ICOC is we only have to answer things if they're raised to us.
True. He's currently loading it into the screen. Yeah,
so Couchy spot on. We were the start of practice was delayed by 25 minutes. So that we carried out the full hour of practice, delaying the start of Quali by 25. Obviously, this race restart and this subsequent wait for setup means that we're now fully 50 minutes delayed. So both of them are issues. We can't sweep either one away.
He's in. Is the update? It's giving him waiting for players. So we're Gucci now. Calm says Ferrari ready.
He can probably say that about 5 times now. In fact, I'm going to go into Racing General and type Ferrari ready. There we go. Just a feline amongst the pigeons.
Glenn has given the Ferrari ready after I posted Ferrari ready. And Cam Powell's posted Ferrari ready once again. So this is how the chat reads for anyone that cares. He's in. He's giving him waiting for players. Calm. Ferrari ready. Glenn. So we're Gucci now. Blaze. Can we go? Me. Ferrari ready. Calm. Ferrari ready. Glenn. Ferrari ready.
But is Ferrari ready?
I mean, we'll see if he can take control.
Okay,
there we go. Swap over.
We've finally got a timer. I don't want to get prepared until we finally start and there isn't a Buki issue on the end of the formation lap.
True.
Okay, so this is formation lap number 2, 50 minutes late after the end of a delayed practice, at the end of a race restart, after the end of waiting for Hodgson. Ferrari is finally ready, and Hodgson has a big X on his name in the main screen. So I think at this point we're just leaving him by the wayside as we did at the end of Q1, which really sucks for the guy. I feel for him, but we have to get a race on. This is what we all came here for on a Sunday night. I just hope his car doesn't mess everyone up.
The scenes when Hodgson scores more points than Hodgson would have done.
That would be brilliant. AI car comes in top 10. Now, I've set the lobby up, and the AI difficulty I've put in is 90. I would estimate the average performance of this league to be between 95 and 100. However, if there's a few issues or a bit of wing damage or a few time penalties, it's not inconceivable that a 90 AI bot could drive the whole race and get points.
So, know what I'm planning for. So yeah, still got that giant X above him. Does that mean disconnected, or does that mean pause? No, because pause, he says pause, right?
It does, so in pause, it'll normally put AI above the driver. X does mean disconnected, so the AI is in control, but it indicates a connection issue rather
But does
than
he get it
else.
after the formation lap? That's how it used to work.
It's hard to say. I had this issue once in Zandvoort in Season 4. and I tried to get back in during the formation lap and couldn't. I could only rejoin the car about 5-10 seconds after the start of the race, which is not when you want to make any sudden moves with drivers all around you. So while the front of the race is going to be spicy, I really want to see the back of the race as well. Where do you want to focus on, Josie?
I mean, Glenn is now behind Hodgson in the formation lap on my screen. So,
okay, where's Carlos as well? Let's have a look. He's approaching the back of the pack. This could be good. This will be like Wii Sports with bowling. Straight.
Let's see if Hodgson connects.
He's got into his position.
Yeah.
Hodge, well, I think will only connect after the start of the race.
So not ideal, but hopefully Cooch can give us an update. It looks like we're going. Braden, if you want to take us away.
Let's do it. Cheers, Joycey. So the Styrian Grand Prix, 5 lights are on and they are off. Our drivers are hitting their throttles and they're finally away with a bit of spectator lag. Let's ignore the timing stack and look at how things are shaping up. The Haas of Flyer is at the front. Crispy and the Williams is taking the outside line. Sonny almost bodging him off the track. 2 cars to the edge. A Williams going off, and that's a spin further at the back. And that's Crispy and Sonny both colliding with each other. Sonny is out of the race. Crispy has severe issues, and he's going to have to come in to box after a damaged wing. Crispy also getting a penalty for colliding with Maka. So Sonny's going to be really annoyed at that one. It's both Haas's and both Red Bulls surviving that one to be in the top 4. Safety car conditions, Josie.
Yeah, and I mean, I caught it right on the camera. The, was it the Alfa Romeo or was it Hodgson? Somebody just smashed sideways after the Sonny crash.
I did see 2 cars going off at the side of the track, and I think it was the Aston Martin of Sonny and the Williams of Crispy. I then saw Maka getting caught up with the collision, and I don't know how Hodgson DNF'd, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. But rest assured, more drama.
In a way, I wish nothing against Hodgson. I'd like him to have had a good race with a lot of fun. I'm glad that with his car in such an AI condition, we have it out of the race now. We can't have desync. It's gone. What we do have, though, is Charmander's worst nightmare, a safety car. He's been taken out by a lot of safety cars in the history of VLF1. And we'll get to see what happens at the front of the pack. Flyer is slowing down for the safety car. And normally this is the point where we might see drivers drive into the back of each other because they don't know that they have to slow down. It looks fairly measured. And yeah, there we are. Blaze at the back of the pack. So 3 drivers went into the pits. Crispy, who collided with Sonny on turn 1. Maka, who got caught up as well. He's also serving his 5-second penalty, if I am correct. So no penalties on the board as I speak. Everyone going out, and we'll be able to start again after the end of the safety car.
So, a little bit of an update. I managed to go to VL General to see the drama. Sonny is fully blaming Crispy for that, saying that he just drove straight into him. And that some more choice words that I'm choosing to ignore. But, yeah, that seems to be the update there.
Yeah, this is normally the touchy sort of thing that we get into when it comes to steward reviews. And we'll have to look at stream footage later, but annoyingly for drivers who are out of the race, Hodge and Sonny, we've got the rest of the race to look at. We've still got 16 drivers who are chasing down points, and one of them, we're hoping, will come away with a win.
Yeah. So, rest in peace, Hodgson, and his chances for the race, as you pointed out earlier. Sonny gone from winning to not winning.
Quite simply.
And Flyer, Trav, Cam, Charmander being the top 4. Who'd have thought a half Red Bull top 4?
Yeah, those 2 teams are very Sunday-centric. Like, Calm will always be consistent. Like, I think Trav and Calm are the more consistent drivers, whereas Flyer and Charmander are the more surprising one lap or just absolute big move boys. But I really like those 2 teams. They've stayed together consistently. They've both won Constructors' Championships. They work well together personally as well. I've been in more Trav Charmander calls than I have Flyer Calm calls, but they're both sets of drivers know what they're doing. They can talk to each other technically, and they can have a bit of fun with each other as well. The other thing that happens as well is I think Haas have more people in their call. They sit in VL General, whereas Red Bull have their own project because they're going to be with the Alpha Tauri team of Miffy and Law. So A lot for those drivers to take account of, as we get the message from race control that the safety car is in this lap. So end of lap 3, DRS will be activated on the 3rd lap after the restart, so at the start of lap 6. Carlos on the hards, by the way. I don't know if he wants to run the whole race.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Do you reckon he can go for the 35 laps on the hards? 33 laps on the hards?
It's 33. It's possible, is what I'm going to say. I haven't seen the magic numbers, which is what I like to call the maximum capacity for each tyre compound. But let's look at the restart first. So my eyes are on Flyer and Trav, as they're going to take it away. Flyer's playing a bit of mental jousting. Flyer just getting the apex of that last corner and absolutely going for it. Trav burning his ERS. Will he try and catch Flyer? He's close, but I think Flyer is going to have that entry into the first corner. We're going to go to broadcast camera and see if those players will be able to get there. Crispy's going to retire. He had a bad time getting around that final corner at full speed. Hopefully, cold tyres have played a part. We return to the field. We'll discuss that more in a second. Haas and Red Bull moving to a very slow corner. This can normally cause contentious issues, but these guys have danced this dance before. They know what they're doing. Gaben very close to the back of Charmander, and that's Monty seeming to drive into the wall, but only lag in the end. Pyro on softs, looking for the gap onto Monty, making the inside move as we go into this corner. These drivers are all in a train against each other. Miffy almost into the back of his teammate Law. Glenn in P11 at the moment. Shadow, Blaze, Carlos, and Maka bringing up the rear of this big train right now, Joycey.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep off the scoreboard a little bit so we can get a full view of this action. But as you say, the train action is real. One late break, one late break in front could be all the difference. Lots of debris on the track there, by the way.
Yeah, and that could be dangerous. That's easy, especially on simulation damage. We have the simulation model with standard damage mode, so all parts of the car, including the floor.
Gaben almost losing it in turn 1. Managed to recover. Probably got a warning for that, but can Monty capitalise now? He's looking for the overtake. Gaben trying to defend it. Oh, I thought Gaben was gone there, you know.
Yeah, well, I've already seen Monty have a bit of an erratic move, but that was lag. By the way, Monty's sitting on 2 warnings already after 3 racing laps, so it's worth saying that 3 corner cutting incidents gives you a 3-second time penalty at the end of the race that you can't undo in the pits. I mentioned earlier that because of safety cars, that's a really bad thing to have on your record, so Monty really has to look at his driving right now, or he's going to be really offset later in the race.
Yeah, Miffy trying to make moves onto Glenn now. He's within 2/10 when I just looked at the scoreboard. I've just removed it now for the battle. How do these two shape up, Predham?
Who are we looking at? Miffy
and Glenn.
Miffy and Glenn. Well said. Oh, is that Calm gone? He's gone on the final corner. Championship contenders falling left, right, and centre. And that's another safety car. Lap 6 of our race. Everyone going back to the deltas.
And they've all just gone by the pits.
Yeah, so no big tactics to come out. Yeah, so Calm did the same thing that Crispy did just a few laps prior. Tried to go around the final corner at full speed, over-egged it, oversteered, had a bit of skid, and then bashed his front wing on the right-hand hard wall, immediately wiping out his car. And this is the champion. This is the 2-time champion of VL, by the way. This is not just any driver. He knows what he's doing. He had a few little spins in Q2, but Calm is always the reliable guy when it comes to the race. So for him to absolutely retire his car, along with Crispy and Sunny, who are 2 of our top 6 contenders, is massive and really gives other drivers a chance for not only points, but high points.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely not something I would have expected at all.
Okay, so the other question you posed, Joycey, before we had that absolute debacle was Glenn and Miffy. So Miffy is a fairly newer driver when compared to Glenn. He's also a driver that hasn't had much high-profile stuff happen, where Glenn is, of course, the project captain of Ferrari and has to manage 4 drivers and subs on a regular basis. Glenn I've seen as someone who really advanced his pace personally in Season 3. Miffy, especially with the Q2 performance we saw, has shown streaks of brilliance. So it almost creates a storyline of the old guard of Glenn versus the new rising underdog of Miffy. And at the moment, it looks like they're fairly well poised. It's easy to say that Miffy is as fast as Glenn because of the DRS train, but when drivers start spreading out is where you start to see the battles and where you start to see the moves being made.
Yeah, absolutely. You're bang on the nose there. So, in towards who's been in the pits then. Brandon went in. He's now at the back of the pack. Presuming he had some sort of a collision. Also put on fresh mediums. Everyone else, other than obviously Maka and Carlos who pitted earlier on, have yet to pit. Will we see any in this safety car?
It's difficult to say because you can't guarantee that another safety car won't happen in a few laps' time. This really suits Carlos, by the way. His game plan is to make those hard tyres last. He has had to race a few laps of them, but also he gets a few laps now where he just has to put minimal wear on them, doesn't have to exert any lateral force on them, so the tyres aren't going to wear out as much. So I think Carlos is the overall winner of this. Most other drivers, especially the ones on mediums, aren't going to change their game plans. Soft drivers might have gone in for a new set, but the safety car is going in this lap. Flyer is going to have another shot at trying to lead out Travis doing the mind games. He's going to run a bit earlier, brake before the final corner, and get a nice little bit of acceleration on. The traction is good coming out the final corner. Travis is a bit closer than he was last time, but Flyer will still have the lead up. Trav is not going to be able to send it at this point. Cold tyres are treacherous. We've seen this already. Pyro down the inside of Gaben stays on the track. Monty is going to have to fight. He's off to the side. Gets overtaken by Somtha. Law overtakes him as well. Glenn is seeing this battle up ahead. Miffy, Shadowhopper, Maka, Carlos, and Blaze are going to bring up the rear of this train. 4 drivers already gone, 14 remain. What's going to happen on turn 3? Miffy really close to Glenn, sniffing the back of that Ferrari exhaust as we get into that little mix there. It's so difficult to get traction out of those corners anyway, especially on cold, hard tyres after a safety car. Law making the overtake on Somtha, who looked like he was a bit forced off the track. He does have a full wing, so he does look like he has good performance. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, on that turn 3, it seems like Monty braked early. Glenn had to dive to the left to avoid collision. Mickey then obviously having to brake to not hit Glenn. Charmander Nerd and Flyer were just tussling with positions. We're now on a VSC, not sure what that one's for.
Yeah, I'm immediately going to check race director for that one because I can't immediately see a retirement. I can't see what's caused it. The last incident in the race director page is a warning for Glenn on lap 5, so before the previous safety car, it's worth saying. So I suspect it has something to do with Gaben, who has the disconnected marker on her. I'm hoping this doesn't cause desync issues with Charmander. But Gaben's AI car is still in the race, it's in P4.
It's also intact, worth noting.
Yeah.
And now we're back racing again.
Yeah, the VSC did not last long, and Travis has taken the lead of the race. He's taken it from Flyer with both of them on medium tyres. For Trav to gain such a lead suggests that Flyer must have really slipped in whatever he was doing.
Yeah. Also, on the final turn, just take a look on how much debris is on that track. We just had to see cars navigate their way around it. There's so much on there. And I was thinking maybe the safety car was for that.
Let's have a quick gander at Travis here, because he'll have the first run into that final corner. Yellow flag in sector 2, I think, for one of the Alpine boys.
Yeah, Monty.
Debris looks to have
okay,
cleared.
the debris is gone.
Yeah, Monty doing a nice little spinala. DRS is now active, and we don't get a VSC for the incident with Monty there. So, unfortunately for Monty, he does have to lose that 8-second time delta, but he's fairly reliably hoping on another safety car with the 14 drivers remaining in this race.
So, kind of spreading out a little bit now, as you called. So we'll see where the real battles are. Brandon trying to attack Carlos. Carlos on the hards, Brandon on the mediums. Should have the pace advantage. Got the DRS. Going down the outside, makes it stick, gets around, and secures that. Very, very good manoeuvre there from Brandon.
Big dub. Yeah, Carlos is really biding his time here. He's happy on the hards. I don't think he wants another safety car. There's a good chance with already 5 or 6 laps of non-racing.
Okay, then.
Oh, right. Commentator's curse. We love it. I'm not actually sure why that's happening.
I wonder if this is a bug. I feel like it's a bug.
If we take a look at the drivers, they are slowing down, so the drivers are seeing the same information.
No, as in, yeah, I fully think it is a VSC, but I feel like the game's bugging by giving the VSCs. I believe the last one must have been the debris, because it obviously got cleared, and it was there for like 4 laps. Couch, I think the debris disappear was the last one. I'm not sure what this one is, but we are seeing copy into the pit, so maybe some sort of collision.
Yeah, again, race director is normally a good bible for this sort of thing. but it looks like it wasn't an incident with another driver. The last incident was a warning for Blaze on lap 10.
Coucher, we just watched on Trav's point of view, and there was no debris on that last turn. We will not take a look at the come back round again. I'll go with like maybe Fly or something. If you can get me to confirm on who exactly seeing it, like if Mac is seeing it or Glenn, we'll take their point of view. We are back racing.
Oh, Monty close to Pyro when they're both 9 seconds off the pace, though. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's any physical debris. And that's a yellow flag. That's a Red Bull in the side. Trav is on the gravel.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to wait. He's not going to be able to go onto the track now. There's drivers going past. He's inching his way onto the track. That might be dangerous. But he's back
No, there
on
is still debris on turn 1. There is still debris.
On turn 1? Or
not turn 1. The last turn. So if you go with like Copy or someone now. Copy would be a good one because he's about to come around.
Okay, let's have a look. I can't see it at the moment.
No, I'll point it out. So you're watching Copy, yeah?
Yeah.
So you see it there, and then when it changes the angle, you'll see it there.
Interesting. I didn't see that on my stream.
So the debris is still there, as far as I can tell.
I wonder if it's like Bodge Bend in Singapore, where it's visible to some and invisible to others. Shout out to Codemasters, by the way, whose quality of gamesmanship and development is really stellar. 5 stars.
So it will be interesting to see if we get another VSC. It could be that this debris is caused glitches.
Yeah, this appears to be why we've been getting VSCs. Something now chasing Law. He's within a couple tenths. It's going to be difficult to overtake. And there we are, a VSC with, incidentally, none of the drivers involved going around the final corner or turn 1.
So, there we are. VSC.
So the Miffy and Shadow, by the way, going into the pits. We'll go to our tried and tested trick of Race Director to see that the last few incidents have only been exceeding track limits. So
it's got to be the debris.
Collisions.
It's still there as well, yeah. We're watching Monty come round. Cursed race. Cursed game, I guess.
True that. Yeah, I'm not seeing the debris at all.
If you watched my screen, did you watch my screen on the last one?
I didn't. So if I take a look at the VL stream on my off screen.
Yeah, so you'll see as Fly comes around and watching Flyers. We're back racing again. We'll see if it has gone or if it's still there. So here we are coming towards these final corners of the lap. As Flyer rounds the bend, the debris is there. If I missed it, so I'll go back. Yeah. Oh, has it disappeared now? No, still there.
Ah, okay. So it's off to the side, not on the racing line, but it could still hit someone who's going very quickly around the previous corner and then moves to the inside.
Yeah, and it seems like every lap or 2 laps or so, it's happening.
Yeah, there are no collisions, so people are just appearing to collide with the debris. We don't have any other explanation for it. It's so easy to jump into Cody's for everything else. Okay, so we're 1 Red Bull and 1 Haas down at the front of the pack. Trav had a bit of an incident, he's down to P8. Calm had a bit more of an incident on the final corner, and he's in the pearly gate. Flyer and Charmander leading the race out at the moment. The key one I want to know is whether Gaben's back in his vehicle. I don't know at the moment, but because of the 90 AI, he's holding his position fairly well.
Yeah, not too sure. Something not close enough for it to really tell. On the plus side, we're yet to have another VSC. Hope I cursed that. As Gaben is now in the pits. Blaze has got a warning for multiple... a penalty for multiple warnings.
That looks to be our first one as well, which is... Despite the fact we've only had about 7 or 8 racing laps. I'm surprised we didn't pick up more, especially with a few drivers on 2 warnings.
Especially with the erratic VSCs as well. I'd expected to see a few more penalties as Carlos now gets a penalty.
There we go. So people having to adjust between VSC, full safety car, and indeed full racing conditions. That's really going to put a stopper in Carlos's plan, by the way, because he's planning on there being no safety car and pushing to the end. The 3 seconds is just not good, however you swing things.
Yeah, absolutely. Nail on the head comes to mind.
Okay, so Flyer and Charmander still trading. Flyer's gone in after 14 laps, Charmander staying out, so Flyer going for the undercut.
Yeah. And other than all that drama, there's been very little, like, actual action. Gaben trying to make moves on copy. He's going to try and probably do it on the DRS. I'd imagine he's back in his car now. Go to Miffy real quick. Maybe it'll show me. Doesn't at all, so let's go back to Gaben and watch this battle. We'll hide the UI.
Oh, so from Pyro's position and looking backwards, Gaben still has the big X on his head.
Oh, okay then.
So either it's a really good 90 level AI, or he's back in his car and there's a visual spectator bug.
Monty with the penalty.
I would love
Gaben
to see,
with a very clean overtake.
I'd love to see AI Gaben get points. Just
Yeah,
selfishly.
still an X. You are correct. I can see it too. Glenn looking to sort of make a battle with Law now for that P3. Obviously net P3, given that Fly has pitted. But P3 still.
Yeah, shout out to Law, by the way. He was one of the ones to watch, both metaphorically and literally, as far as cards are concerned. And yeah, he's in P3. He's on the softer tyre, so he does have to change earlier. But it's really nice to see. That's a Merc on the side. Blaze losing positions. He's in the grass, avoided the gravel, and he's going to have to wait for 4 more cars to come onto the track. He might have just forced Miffy and another car off to the side. That's really awkward for Shadowhopper because he had to change his path very quickly.
So, good stuff. Glenn up into P3 now. Not sure if you called that. Law in the pits. Gaben, meanwhile, the bot, having the fastest lap of the race.
I'm so skeptical that that's a bot now. You've got to think that even with Trav and Charmander and other really top drivers on the track, one of them will have beaten Gaben if it was an AI. 90 AIs don't beat VL. However, we'll find out from Gaben later, and it will be great if Gaben says, "What race?"
So, sorry, I was just filling in Stillbend on what actually happened and about the call. But on to Law, looking like he's trying to make some moves on Monty.
Yeah, he has just pitted. He was in high flying in P3, P4 on the softs. He's made the switch to mediums, and with 18 laps remaining, it's going to be really difficult to manage the tyre life towards the end of the race. So Law's probably going to have to make it smooth, avoid the penalties, not put too much wear on the tyres, and not make the massive pinwheel, hard apex, full power moves. I don't even know what that sentence was, but Law's going to have to go at 90 and not 100.
So, confirmation from the Ferrari Jeff, it is a bot.
So we've got a 90 bot setting the fastest lap in a VL race.
However, Fly did just beat that fastest lap, but yes.
You love to see it. Okay,
So-
Carlos still at the back, still keeping up his strategy on the hards.
So you lot, all you racers, you're worse than bots. 90 bots, to be precise.
90 bots.
So let that sink in a little bit.
Yeah, anyone who's
Open the
watching
door.
now. Yeah, there we go. Open the door, oh my god. Beautiful. Alright, so the front of the pack hasn't changed the tyres since the last safety car. So that's Charmander, Somfer 8 seconds behind, Glenn and Trav within 2-3 seconds of Somfer in P2. So they're going to have to switch soon. I suspect that they've already fulfilled the legal tyre requirement of 2 different compounds by switching between safety cars. So I think they can
nope.
just switch to another medium.
Nope. They have not switched yet. If you look on the stops. So Monty and the top 4 of Hall not pitted yet.
Wow. Yeah, we know Monty's number by now. He did a full Silverstone 50% on one set of intermediates. But I'm surprised to see that there were no tyre changes on the safety car by the top guys. Of course, the safety cars will have enabled them to run longer, but because they haven't changed, they're now going to have to switch to another compound. Softs only run probably 12, 13, maybe 14 at a push. So switching onto them now is going to be difficult. We might
Glenn
see
with the
two
penalty.
sets of softs. We might see hards. And yeah, Glenn with a pen.
Nice rhyme. Nice rhyme. Shadow and Coffee looks like to be a battle. Trav trying to take the move on Glenn as well. Let's go with Trav. So he's going to have the DRS. Didn't manage to make it stick. Going round in towards turn 3. Gets round it. Got the DRS once again. You see those vents opening. Glenn also having the DRS from Sontha. Trav cannot close this gap. And in fact, the gap's widened. So good defending by Glenn. Whether that's just the nature of the track, I'm not too sure. But Trav needs to get closer.
Yeah, we've got a couple of the battles as well. Law overtaking Blaze as we get on the third and final DRS zone. Blaze having a few penalties in his locker as well, 6 seconds, so he needs to watch how he's driving. He's now got the DRS train potential on Law, but he needs to stay within a second to activate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Back with Trav, down to 3/10, 2/10. I thought he'd overtaken him, but it's something in the pits, and that's what confused me. But yeah, Trav looking to try and do it within this home straight, but he knows turn 1 can be bad. Pulls out pretty much like I used to in my younger days. See if he can attack on the turn 2, which is not really a turn, but it's a turn anyway.
How Alex is glad you've changed as Flyer gets close to the back of those two drivers coming up to turn 3. Yellow flag in sector 1 as that's going to be Pyro who's off to the side. He's in the grass and has to wait for 4 more drivers to go. That really sucks. He'll be joining his teammates at the back of the pack. And with those few drivers at the front really locked, Flyer and Trav are at each other's throats. With
Glenn just letting Flyer through, it seems.
Back. Yeah, red, white and blue coming up there, and Glenn and Trav still have to pit, so they have to hold up Flyer while they're waiting to go into the box, but equally can't lose their cars as they're battling with high tyre wear.
Can we just talk about, by the way, Charman and Nerd with his impressive comeback into P1 on the second race he's been back after missing what seemed like a million, but it was actually about 10. We're seeing Shadow off the side of the track now. Unsure exactly what happened. Looks like a loss of traction around that technical sector 2.
Yeah, got the cold tyres coming back on. We'll see if he impedes the McLaren boys, but he's at the back of the pack now. Got Pyro just coming up on him. Pyro looking for the overtake. It's really close into this corner, but Pyro's got the warmer tyres, or rather the colder tyres of the two, and goes straight into the box. Shadow still on the track. Yeah, Charman's been doing really well.
Meanwhile, Project Hold Flyer Up didn't work as he overtook him with seemingly ease. Going now to try and get close and close that gap to Charman and Nerd. Obviously, the pit window is still there, so he's around net 15 seconds better off, give or take. But he would still like to close this as soon as possible. Charman and Nerd will need to be looking towards that pit very soon, and in fact, looks like it could be this lap. It is indeed. So, Flyer will regain P1. Will Charman and Nerd come out? Will it be in the traffic or will it be in the clean air?
Oh, Red Bull have both gone into the pits. Travis only a few seconds behind Charmander. There's the danger of a double stack.
I think he's
here,
fine.
So let's watch.
He is fine, yeah.
Charmander's out. Will Trav be held up? He's there and he's straight into the box. So Joyce was spot on. They're fine. They've double stacked it well. And yeah, with both of them on 22 lap old tyres, it was important that they switched. They can now finish the race on these soft compound tyres. Flyer is going to be so crucial now because if he doesn't pit for another set of tyres and makes his softs go 19 laps, which I don't think is possible, then he'll have a really tight battle at the end of the race.
So, Gaben on 7 old softs. Wait, Flyer must have to pit again, you know. Did you just say that? I wasn't really paying attention.
I think Flyer should pit again. I don't see how he finishes the race on this set. But
Yeah,
if he does, then it's fun.
Sorry, I was just looking at Gaben, because Gaben's obviously up into P2. However, also similarly with Flyer on quite old softs, so they will not run to the end. Charman and Nerd looking in an exceptionally strong position right now.
Check out my boy Law, though. From relative obscurity, he's now in P4. He's worked his way back up the field. And I think he can finish the race on these tyres. He can do 17 laps on these mediums. He's got no penalties to speak of. He's drove a really clean race, not got involved in the safety cars, not got involved in collisions. And I like the guy anyway. He's been my partner in League and we play a lot of games together. But I really want to see him just shake things up. You go, Law. Keep it up.
Without doubt, really, really good stuff here from Law. But yeah, I think right now, if we look at it, Go on to the tyres again. Sorry, Stu, I keep putting it on. Somther can finish. Charmander can finish. Law can finish. So, as it stands, I don't think Flyer and Gaben could. We're probably looking at a Charmander, Somther, Law, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, they can battle, but those 3 podium.
What a change of fortunes for Charmander, going from getting dooted by Carlos on a formation lap AI to getting a restart to potentially winning. Still potential at this point. Maka actually recovering well from a dive on Blaze, who's just lost a few positions to Glenn and Trav, who are on softs and absolutely herring it down the field now. They're making their final charges with 11 laps to go. Blaze has had a bit of a race to forget, but I still think he pits for softs maybe this lap. He's in the pit lane, and yeah, he's going to make that box now.
Yeah.
So he's still got a 6-second time pen to overcome, but he's going to have everything at his disposal to have a really good final shot with the softest, fastest compound.
My eyes are firmly glued onto this Trav. Glenn into the side? No, Maka into the side. I was stuck on the Alfa Romeo colours from last season. But yeah, I was definitely saying it was going to be that 3 with the battle. Trav, Glenn, Maka. Maka under the pressure, couldn't handle it. Glenn, Trav going at it now. Trav hoping to try and pull away.
Yeah, meanwhile, we had Law under pressure from Somther, but Law made a really nice move down the inside of the hairpin corner, turn 3. And he's on the slower tyre compound with more wear, so Law really bringing the pace to bear against Somther, who was a really strong finisher from Season 4.
Shadow Hopper into the pits. Not sure if that is an issue, but he's gone to fresh sauce. Blaze equally to fresh sauce, Monty fresh sauce. Miffy, however, fresh mediums, so I wonder if he hasn't got any tyres left. He's on to 2 stops, you'd imagine he's already changed the compound.
Yeah.
Maybe a lack of tyre management there.
Oh, fastest lap coming in, I think, from Trav. Let's find out. Yeah, there it is, 104.4. He had the fastest Sector 2. I think 1 as well, we'll find out later, but that's a statement of intent. He's on his final stint. He wants to overtake everything in front of him. It's going to be difficult to get past anyone in front of Law, who's battling with Somther right now. They're having the same battle they did on lap 25.
Indeed. So, we have seen Gaiman finally go into those pits. He's now on fresh softs. We're still waiting on Flyer. Now, does Flyer try and hold out?
I don't see it, Joycey. I think if he finishes, he'll do it on 19-lap-old softs. And, oh, was that contact there you just saw?
I thought so. Travis now got a pen.
Yeah, I'm going to race direct to this one, because that looked like contact with Trav and Glenn.
Definitely like contact.
Let's have a quick gander at that one.
It was Trav and Law, I believe. Law!
got it.
Oh, Law into the side! Losing lots of position, lots of time. Trav P4, Glenn P5, Gaben now into P6.
Depending on Law's wing, I think he goes for softs here. Does a final stint. His turning looks really affected. He's going to change his wing now. Softs.
Sector
that
3.
sucks for Law, though.
Yellow flag. So that must have been the Law incident. Trav now looking trying to attack Somther. And on those softs has lots of speed. Somther not trying to give it up too easily.
Oh, they're really respectful of each other. I love seeing this close racing, but Somther has the edge coming out of that turn 3.
Oh,
Trav has the inside line coming up to turn 4, though that could be really good. Did he try and go for an Albon and try and squeeze the guy out? And no, he's going to leave Somther enough room. This is good racing, but Trav has the pace advantage right now. This is so close.
I absolutely hate that the broadcast decides to randomly change it to onboard facing backwards right as they're battling, you know. Like, I just wish there was a view. No, so broadcast, onboard, and then, like, this view that I've got right now. This is the racing battle view that you want.
I know, right? Meanwhile, Joycey, Flyer in the box. He couldn't finish on that stint. Charmander leads with 8 laps to go.
As we expected. So, Flyer presumably onto another set of softs. Yep, indeed. So it's all about tyre management out of Charmander and Trav. They've got the gaps. Well, I mean, they've got the gaps to Flyer is what I'm trying to say here. Somther, I believe, could finish on those tyres. It'll be close, but he should be able to.
Oh, Somther being forced wide on that corner, or maybe just steering wide, and he's going to lose the initial battle with Glenn. It's worth saying that while Somther is close to Glenn and Flyer on track, Glenn and Flyer both have the 3-second time penalties, and so does Trav. So as it stands, Somther is in net P2, but I think Trav has got a lot more in the tank. I think he's got more pace to bring out.
Yeah, hopefully we see it. However, That three. Oh yeah, Flyer has also got a 3-second penalty. I was about to say that brings Flyer into contention, but it is equalled out.
This is
Any
so
more
close from P2 down
battles?
to 5.
It
Flyer
is
nearly
indeed.
hitting Somther in the back there after an early break. DRS is big. Flyer's going to come down the inside of Somther, looking for a dive into that turn 1. Flyer's not really going to let up. He's going to go wide into this one. Somther forced to drop back, but he's just going to exchange DRS. I suspect we'll see the same in the third DRS move there. Flyer with a bit of jumpy disconnect, but he's going to stay there with a bit of an attack on Glenn. The pace, the closing pace is real. Flyer is going to hold his line, make the turn, stay ahead of Somther. Glenn now the one under pressure, but he has got pace. He hasn't got the DRS available, with Trav already being 1.7 seconds ahead. We see a Merc off the track. Blaze spinning his car at the end of turn 1.
Oh no! Flyer DCing!
You hate to see it. He's rapidly disconnecting and connecting again. It will make the race a lot more interesting, and it looks to be a permanent disconnection for now. He's got the big red X on him, but that seems to have made him faster, just like it did with Gaben.
Speaking of which, is Gaben actually back in yet? Who knows?
Yeah, I can't see at the moment. There's 7 seconds ahead, 10 seconds behind. It would be brilliant. Couchy, if you've got any updates on Gaben, that would be fantastic. If he's a bot on P6, that is absolutely hilarious. We've got Charmander Nerd hit.
Oh no! The dreaded interval break. This could be bad news for Adam.
I'm hoping, Joycey, that this gets resolved after the next lap, but this is classic Flyer desync at its best.
Oh no. So, for those that don't know, anytime that this happens, we panic because usually the game's about to break. So
I was just about to commentate to curse Charmander as well, because with him being in such a commanding position, with him being on the final stint, there's no more pit strategy battles, he's got no penalties to be aware of. He would even have the lead in a jockeying battle if it came to another safety car. It's very much his race to lose, although it's easier for him if there are no more safety cars. Glenn has gone, he's DNF'd at the end of Sector 2, start of 3. Was it a close battle?
It looks like he's touched grass, lost traction into the side of the wall, and yeah, no safety car for that either, no VSC.
The other thing to watch out is debris, so we'll see if we can get a look at that Alpine car. That's Monty going past. Glenn's car has disappeared, looks to be a clean track, which hopefully should avoid any more VSCs. The timing stack is back, which is of course great news for Charmander and Travesty. The two Red Bull drivers are in a 1-2 commanding position right now. Flyer 3 seconds back from Trav with the same amount of pens. Somther is 4 seconds behind Trav, but still behind him because of the 3-second pen differential. Trav is in net P2, and that is fantastic news for the boys at Red Bull.
Absolutely good news for those two. Wanting to mount an attack back on that Constructor Championship after giving it up in Season 4.
Alright, let's see if there's any other close battles. We've got 3 cars, one after the other, down into the hairpin corner. Law leads the train, Pyro and Maka behind them. None of these 3 drivers have any penalties. Law and Maka having the tyre advantage, with Pyro only on the yellow medium compounds. So Law had an awkward spin. He's looking to get a bit of redemption. At the moment, he is 4.6 behind Blaze with a 6-seconder. So Law is in net P8. He just needs to keep things strong, and he's got a good share of points.
Yeah, Brandon with that penalty down to net P11 as it stands. As I say that, Maka gets the 3-second. We'll call that net P10 for Brandon.
Yeah, a single solitary point won't save Brandon. He's got higher ambitions than that. He's had better performances, including the P2 that he got last week. So,
Indeed.
Yeah, 1 point. He's going to scoff at that. He's turning his nose up, much like Glenn does at everything else.
I'm just saying, Brandon needs to enable the TARDIS right now.
Okay, so
right.
Charmander, it's all swell for him right now. He's in the chill meditation zone. As long as he doesn't pull a Hodgson at the end of Q1, he's doing really good. Can finish this stint. He's got no pens. He needs to drive under his own pace. He's got a little bit of ERS left. He's got 7 seconds behind him to the nearest driver. In fact, it looks like 10 seconds to the nearest driver when you look at net penalty position. He just needs to chill. He can still lose 2 seconds every lap and still win the race.
Yeah, exceptionally good position to be in right now if you're Charmander Nerd. Equally, if you're Trav, you're also looking pretty good. Flyer's starting to make a bit of a gap against Somther with much fresher tyres. So those 3-second penalties not going to come into play, we hope.
Yeah,
Or rather, they hope.
Gaben at the moment looks to have got 10 points off a bot, which, however you swing it, is hilarious. Niffy in P6 with no pens is a nice position to be in. I'm still invested in this train of Law, Pyro, and Maka. They're coming down
Same,
the final turn at the moment. Maka does have the DRS. Pyro does have the same on Law. Law's still leading them out. He's just got to keep his composure. He's got no penalties so far. Pyro taking a really poor exit there, so Law granted a bit of a reprieve. There's not much ERS to speak of in this train, so DRS is going to make things count. Pyro coming side to side with Law. They were teammates on Toro Rosso in Season 3, but Pyro did not leave enough room for Law at the side of that. Law's going to push Pyro as well. There's a 3-second penalty, and there's a lot of bad blood here. Law now dropping behind Pyro physically.
Maka sneaking in. They're going wheel to wheel in the corners. Maka yielding.
Lil Doot there onto the back wheel of Law. This is carnage, this is devastation, this is robot wars. Although Gaben isn't involved in his AI at the moment. We're just leaving P1 aside as this is too good to watch. Cars have spun off here before Law and Maka nearly did. Maka, can he send it down the inside here? I don't think he can, but he's going to pinwheel his car around the corner anyway. 2 at the line. Law making a difficult move with traction. Maka has the DRS, and he's going to take the inside line, take the primary position, go into this first corner. Braking zone is going to be everything. Law is squeezed, but he's going to have a better move. Will he get the switch back? He's got the DRS. Maka will return squeeze him, but does leave him the space. Law now looking to send it as we get towards the end of the second DRS straight. And that's a late break. That's exactly what we wanted to see for our Danish destroyer. Comes around, and he's going to have DRS again. This is going to go right to the line.
How good was that battling, by the way? 2 of the, I guess, newbies now that Law had a long stint off. Both going at it, both really battling well. No contact, lots of giving and pushing. That's one of the battles of the race, I'll be honest.
Absolutely. We'll just take a quick look to confirm that there are no lapped cars at the moment. So everyone on the same lap. Everyone will be doing the full 36 unless we have a really bad incident at the moment. Charmander 1 at the line, my friend. You've got about 2 minutes more, and then you've got Glory, a victory at the Styrian Grand Prix. And without looking at the overall driver's standings, given that he performed in the top 5 in the previous Grand Prix, this will elevate him to P1 overall. This will give him the lead in the driver's standings. 1 more lap, Alex. It's all you need. Don't mess it up, my friend.
No pressure, no stress. Do not pull a Glenn at whatever race it was last season where he put it into the wall in the final bends.
Do not pull a Hodgson at Q1 this... Why is it always Ferrari drivers, Josie?
I don't know, pal. It's just one of those projects that like to hit the wall, I guess.
Yeah, boy.
But,
a lot of really good drivers have fallen by the wayside this race. Glenn, Calm, Crispy, Hodge, Sonny. You would call them top 10 drivers. By them leaving,
absolutely.
You leave a void. You're going to get a load of points that they will claim should have gone to them. But they haven't. That's how the race falls. It's been fairer than last week. There's still been some controversy. I don't think VLF1 will ever have a controversy-free race. But the restarts certainly helped Charmander as he comes through his final lap. He's starting his final sector now as we have a yellow flag.
Whoa!
2 drivers off, Law and Pyro. They were both teammates. How far things have fallen now. Pyro's going to get back onto the track. Just behind him, Charmander in the Red Bull. He led the race since Flyer had to come in for his final stop. He's driven brilliantly from getting destroyed in the first edition of the race. The restart has delivered him victory. No penalties, perfectly executed strategy. Joined by his teammate at the top 2 steps of the podium. Charmander wins the Styrian Grand Prix.
Incredible scenes right at the death. That Law, who was in net PA, getting taken out. I mean, stewards will be looking at that one, I'm sure. But getting taken out right at the death. Copy, also not getting the points either. The one that was also in that collision, not pointing any fingers. Wow.
Oh, and that's Maka with a slide on the final lap. He was in P9. You could argue P8 because of the net positions. He's going to try and get back onto the line, but there's an Alpine there. Shadow does dodge Maka, but he's going to be much slower as a result. Blaze is going to be in P8 at the moment. Will he hold it with Carlos coming over the line? Yes, he will. Blaze upgrades to 4 points. Shadow crosses the line. Maka having another spin at the final corner. It's a nightmare, and I think even Pyro is going to overtake him here at the death. Maka going into the pits, just about crossing for classification, and Pyro jumps him as well. A nightmare final few laps for Maka.
Not even a few laps, just the final one.
Yeah, that's a Ferrari tier lap right there. Somtha with the Driver of the Day award there. I think he got out in Q2, was only P11 or P12 on the grid, but then elevated himself up into that top battle.
So, with 2 races with lots and lots of game issues, we have the winner of the second race is Chamanade, the man who was plagued by the same issues last season. Incredible scenes here at the Styrian Grand Prix in Austria.
Definitely. We got 12 finishers in the end, I believe. In fact, Lord does classify. There's a lot of carnage. There's a lot to unpack. We'll get the screenshots. We'll have our usual steward reviews. There's going to be implications for racing rivals, as always. But above all, I hope everyone, after the late start, after the controversy, after the couple of safety cars, had a fun final 25 laps, found a good battle, and more so than in the Austrian Grand Prix last week, it's looking more and more like a good bit of racing.
Absolutely. So I'm just going through the stream, getting all the warnings for you, Cradden, in case you haven't got a chance to get them, as I always do.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we might need those later for a few clarifications. I've got all the classifications and I've got the tyres, but I will need those warnings.
I quickly speed through.
Josie.
Yeah, okay, I think I did it twice for you, just in case.
Yeah, no worries. We'll have got them. We can get screenshots. So yeah, Red Bull's getting through. We got I'll have to open the final classification as well. Got Flyer coming through. He got P3. Somtha in P4 with the Driver of the Day performance. I don't know how much of that race featured Gaben in a bot, but if a bot got P5 and 10 points, that's hilarious.
Absolutely, it is crazy.
Do you reckon that's how he won BBU? He just disconnected at lap 1 and then just beat everyone anyway.
Make sure they put the bot on 100 and see what he could do.
Yeah, that was on 90 as well, I hasten to add. I wonder if we just set it to 41 next time, but yeah, either way, we'll skirt over that one. Good thing I didn't mention it on broadcast. And yeah, congrats to everyone who finished well. Unlucky to anyone who got yeeted or didn't finish as highly or destroyed the desk in frustration. But we will be back next week. We don't have break weeks like in real life F1. I'm just going to take a quick look to see where we'll be going for a third race.
We're in Spain.
Spain without the S or Spain without the A. Depends on which driver you're looking at. It's going to be a nice, to be honest, Spain has lost a bit of the Mario Kart ramp, but a couple of the corners, especially that fast right-hander in Sector 2, Turn 9, I believe it is, are going to be really treacherous. I think we're going to see a few DNFs on stream. But that's for next week. Yeah, it's been great to cast. I've missed not being on the casting desk. Overall, it's good to be back on. I think I'm going to be missing you as well next week, so we'll see if we can get some substitute in. It won't possibly be a replacement.
Oh, he's such a cutie.
No, you. Okay. Any final words to close off? Any plugs for Wolfshire or cards?
Go watch my YouTube channel. I'll link it again in the chat. Give me some views. Let me find the link. Oh, God, where did it go? There. Don't leave. Okay, posted. Give me some views. No you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it there then. I will let you get off to bed, Cooch, because I know you're up early in the morning. Thank you very much for joining us this week. Tune in next week for Barcelona. Good evening. Good night.
Catch you later.